Okay, I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. We have, first we have assignment for request for council action. For the Finance Committee, we have 14,129 tax budget, 14,130 donate 30 computers to United City Schools, 14,131 renewal of intensive supervision probation grant, 14,132 Medina United Methodist Church parking lot lease agreement, 14,133 purchase of 2 vehicles for fire department, 14,134 bids rear loading Packer truck for sanitation, 14,135 amending salaries and benefits code building official pay and job description, 14,136 bids for 2014 residential draining improvements, maybe drainage improvements, 14,137 easements for Forest Meadows drainage improvements, 14,138 coasting materials increase PO 14,268 to 35,000, 14,139 ED Trax transfer form liquor permit 1132 North Court Street, and 14,140 approve appropriation of funds for Key Bank renovation. Okay, first item is 14,109 sanitation rate increase. Mr. Picoli submitted this request in fall. That's in your committee. Detailed rate review. Who wants to go first?
Up to you, sir.
I'll let you go first.
Thank you. Similar to the water rate increase, this discussion has been had by multiple committees, personnel, utility review. A couple things. Proposal speaks to raising the residential rate to $16 from $14, and leaving the commercial as is as we go forward and try to evaluate the disposal rates and the labor costs and such. We've talked about it through the budget process. In short, we haven't increased since, I think, '06. Look, we were hopeful that the CPF was going to, things were going to change there. That's our big hinging point. We were about $1.6 million, if you recall from the budget. The disposal fees were the third highest in the county with respect to the amount of tonnage that we take to CPF. You know, we were hearing that after debt gets paid off on the building itself, that it would be possible that or the tipping fees would be lowered, and that hasn't happened. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. That being said, we've held the line as long as we can. And, basically, for the cost of services, the guys did a comprehensive run with respect to what it costs. Councilman Gross would comment maybe a little bit. He had asked basically what it costs to take the trash from the curb to the CPF. And in short, that answer is about $4.09, $4.30. They did a couple different runs per pickup per week. So that's where we're at.
And to that number, the $4.10, give or take, we have to add the other benefits and ancillary costs. It came to approximately $18.60 per month cost per resident to take the trash from the curb to the CPF. So the recommendation that we came with was $16, and the reason for that is, first of all, there is a water rate increase coming up. We don't want to hit everybody all at once. Secondly, there is that slight potential that the CPF and the rates will change and possibly bring it down. The current $18 and change, bring that down. Should that occur, then we'll look at it again. But we are going to look at it again regardless in January again to see where we are with the current cost of getting the trash to the curb, or to the CPF, excuse me. And we will look at everything, bring everything back in-house and review that. If there is a rate adjustment, it will take place on April 1st. We'll have it ready for the beginning of the second quarter.
For next year.
And for next year, right. And it may go up $2, it may stay the same, it may go down. We don't know until we review the facts again in January.
But the increase will occur this year.
Right, the $16, the $2 rate increase from $14 to $16 will take place effective October 1st, should we pass it.
And there'll be no change to commercial rates.
Correct. And commercial rates will stay the same, because they are in a positive cash flow situation right now.
And I had the numbers, but I don't think, Keith, if you have them handy, I don't think you do, but I thought it was like 189,000. Do you have numbers?
No, I didn't bring that pad
What
with
number
me, but
is-
it's in
what
that
number is
area
that,
there.
John?
A $2 increase in the residential rates, what that equates to in dollars per year if it went for a full year.
We bill between 7,000 and 7,500 customers at the residential rate. So you're looking at 14 a month.
14,000 a month,
4,000.
168,000.
That's about right. Yeah.
And currently, as we talked about, the issue comes down to replacement of capital items with trucks, because the operationally, it's very close, almost to break even. It's a little less some years, it's depending on what the tonnage is. It's about even, 50,000 maybe fluctuate up or down every year. But the problem we have is the replacement of the vehicles, the loader trucks, and there's not enough money on an ongoing basis to cover those costs.
And we do have a request here, and it's $220,000 for a new
Some of
truck
the-
this year.
Right, and that's based upon carry forward, but it's gonna
That's
deplete the.
budgeted.
Right, it'll deplete, it will impact the cash flow.
Yes,
Yeah, you look at cash the last 3 years, we've lost money each year.
right.
And we've only, what did we say, one truck in 7 years? Yes. We've only purchased one truck in 7 years, which in the long run, basically the department needs to buy, on average, one truck a year. And, I mean, we haven't done that lately because we had a big group we purchased quite some time ago, but on
Okay.
average, we're gonna have
The
to. get
loss
back to
is
one.
not, the loss is not like 200,000, I think it's like 75, 80, 50, 100 in 1 year.
It was 50 last year, 105 the year before, and 224 the year before that, but I think that year before that, we did buy a truck, but that was when we bought the truck.
So it'll be about even,
So-
right? So the problem is we don't have cost of living increases or trucks on an ongoing basis to cover
Correct.
that cost. Is there any update on the CPF?
There's not, other than we want to go forward with the 3 cities and/or the county and make a run at being an operator of the CPF. Their bid is let in August and it'll be open in September, so we're hopeful that something may change.
What do the other 2 cities think of it?
Similar to Medina.
I mean, do they want to,
Appreciative
do
of
they
the
want
operation
to?
and want some change and are anxious to see that something change with respect to going in, maybe a council of governments, a consortium, if you will, going forward. But again,
We spoke about this a little bit because the amount that the 3 cities use combined,
We're over 60% of the
over
depositors.
60% of what goes to
refuse.
the CPF. So whatever happens there directly, it has an impact on the 3
There's
cities.
definitely some efficiencies that can be gained from that.
Questions?
I'll make a motion then that we follow the recommendation to increase the residential rates by $2 effective 10/1 of 2014.
Any further discussion or comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item is 14-125 Uptown Park Sound System Upgrades and Fees. Jansen?
Mike's got it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, I guess that's okay. Mike?
Is Mike not here?
No, okay.
Okay, I'll
Nino?
take it then.
Oh.
So we tried to get answers to your questions regarding could it be heard over the fireworks. That's difficult for them to say unless somebody can tell them what decibels the fireworks are. So the second quote that came in from Securitech, after it was advertised in the newspaper as to not to exceed, came in a little bit lower, as you can imagine. And they said there are some other things they could do, such as an amplifier or 2 speakers on a pole instead of 1 speaker on a pole, which is an additional $2,360 to add 4 more speakers to try to overcome the noise of the fireworks, or to have just more volume in what it is. So what you approved, the not to exceed amount, will cover either of these two. I guess I would ask that, if you're still okay with it, that we have Jansen evaluate a little bit more once he's back. He'll be back Monday, before we bring it back to council, rather than take it to council tonight. And then make a recommendation to Kathy before the council meets.
So you need a food bill.
Of which of the two to accept, yes.
Did
that make
we
sense?
did we look at the fees for the rental fees, or?
We talked briefly about that, but.
I think they were gonna talk a little bit more to the different groups that use it, and then they were gonna ask them their thoughts on the fee.
I'm not sure that that's been done yet either.
And I think we asked them to bring that back separate so that we didn't hold this up.
Right.
And I did talk to that last week, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, I guess it's my age. The one that organizes the farmer's market.
Keith Williams.
Mr. Wood, thank you
Yes.
very much. And he was in favor of upgrading the system and said that next year that he can incorporate that into the cost. So he seemed pretty excited about it, actually.
Does anybody have any issue with Jansen when he gets back, looking at it and making a determination, because it falls within the amount that was not to exceed number, to see if
Right.
he wanted to do the two other speakers, two on a pole instead of one on a pole, facing different directions, I would imagine. Seems like that would be a benefit to whatever event happens in the square. The larger group of people, the more able they're able to get announcements.
Correct.
Have we looked at that? Right. Okay, so, I think, well, the last meeting I guess we did hold it.
We did, and what we're gonna do is go from finance to council tonight, but I think this is too important of a project
Right.
for us to, I'd rather Jansen.
Well, I guess we could approve the amount, because he's gonna make a determination of which way to go, but the amount's gonna be available to him,
Right.
so.
Then we can take it right to council next.
Yeah, we could approve the amount now, because both quotes fall within
Except
the,
if they want to add the additional speakers, there was a little bit of additional charge.
isn't that, was that
It's
within
an
the?
additional 2360, but I'm having trouble finding what Secure Tech actually started at, that the 2360 has to be added to.
Oh, okay, oh, 'cause I thought you said it was within the 12,357.
That was the original quote.
It was lower.
No, I know, but I thought the two speakers still fell within the number, I thought, maybe.
That was a little lower, but I think once you have the 2,300, if Jansen would decide we want those extra speakers, then it's going to exceed that amount.
No.
I think Secure Tech was 11.6.
No, he didn't have Secure Tech one until the other day. I emailed it to you guys.
All right, well, we'll hold off till next time.
Yeah, here it is, 11.6.
He's got it from when you emailed it.
Okay, so that's
11.
13.6 then, if you add the 2360.
Instead of 12,357.
Or-
Wait,
Wait, it was
11.6.
11,600 plus 2,300,
2360.
13,900.
And I thought we discussed last
60.
meeting when we talked about this, that the original quote from Woodsies, and they were gonna get other, adding extra equipment would be an option later, because the only event that the Jansen thought may not be appropriate for the system that Woodsies is proposing would be for the fireworks,
The music to go along with the fireworks.
Right,
Right.
right.
But what our fear is and was, is that if the main unit that drives them, the speakers, if you would have had a bigger unit, then we could have put this in or that in.
Okay.
Those are the things we're still
Understood.
trying to sort through.
Okay, we can do that.
I'm not sure what we approved the last time, I don't have that. Up to.
I thought it was up to 12.
It says 12,357, and we put it on hold.
I thought we
We
put all of
could-
it on hold.
We could just add the
That's
money,
it.
can't we just add the money to it and approve it so that we can take it next time?
We can still take it next time. It's been on finance for 2 times already. It'll be on 3 next time.
Well, I guess the question is, if you think those dual speakers are more advantageous, then we need to raise the amount to not exceed 13,960. And then,
Yeah.
now that we gave Securitech the ability to come in and quote it that way, we'd probably have to go back to Woodseas, let them try to
Right.
match, not match, but give an equal quote. And I'll
Right.
let Jansen sort through that, but we know that the most is gonna be not to exceed 14,000.
Well, I mean, for the initial cost of that, even for that event or other events, in my mind, it'll cost you more to rent the speakers for the one event than it would be to buy them at the beginning and use them for all the events. Because they're not gonna rent them as more cost effective. You know, if you needed more speakers for the Candlelight Walk or whatever, it's gonna cost you a lot more than $1,000 more, or $1,500.
To rent them, you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So to me, it makes sense, just get them, so you solve the problem now instead of spending more money later.
So,
Well, what if I make a motion not to exceed 14,000? Because I don't think we made a motion last time.
No, we
I
didn't.
don't think we did anything.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion not to exceed 14. He'll let Woodsy come back to match,
Or look at
have
the
it the second set of speakers on the pole, and then make a recommendation.
And where's the extra money coming from? He has 2,000 carry forward, and then 10,000 out of the two different accounts.
What are the two accounts, John?
It looks like it's, they're both 104 accounts. One's a 52,215 and 53,315. That's where he's pulling it from.
Now, what part of, as part of our park systems, have you got any money left in your open space fund?
Well, I mean, the only other place that has any money available would be the electric irrigation money.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's a difference in there that doesn't have it, the $1,000 or $1,500 can come from that. So I still think we have close to 190,000 left in there. Or 180
I think
something.
he's got parks carryover too.
Yeah, I think he does too. So I think that would probably be part of the carry forward.
Yeah, let's call it carry forward, and if it's something different, I'd
Okay.
rather get it to Kathy and get it out to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion not to exceed $14,000.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 4, 14-129, adopt tax budget. Keith?
This is an annual requirement. I emailed it to you on Friday. Are there any questions about it?
We don't need an emergency clause on it.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 14-130, donation of 30 computers to Medina City Schools. Second.
Hi, this is our next round of computers that we're moving to the schools as part of our ongoing continual efforts between the two. And they're planning on deploying those into the classrooms before the start of the school year.
I need to abstain, so have somebody else make the motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries. 14-131, renewal of intensive supervision probation grant. This is from the municipal court. See nobody here for the municipal court.
This comes up every year.
Yeah, this comes up every year. It's a renewal. Emergency clause was requested. I think we had a discussion on this, of why do they want the emergency clause? and-
They never know how much funding is coming from the state at the
Right.
last minute, and they have to make the payroll, right, Keith?
We have to make changes to the pay. It's always July 1st because it's state.
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including emergency clause.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 14-132, Medina United Methodist Church parking lot lease. It must be Mr. Huber. He's back in there.
Mr. Huber?
Is this you, Mr. Huber?
This agreement is with the church, Methodist Church, and the tenant, with respect to renewing what we previously had in place concerning the parking lot. It's been reviewed by the Methodist Church attorneys and approved, and a few changes were made, but it's basically the same agreement we had last time.
Anybody have any questions? The term is for 1 year. And we don't know when the land contract really is going to be paid off, so as soon as that land contract's paid off, then we'll terminate. According to the agreement. Anybody have any other questions? We terminate by other party, it says here, for any reason, for 30 days notice, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next item we have is 14-133, purchase of 2 vehicles for the fire department. Chief Payne?
Thank you, Mr. President. We're replacing 2 vehicles. The first one is a 2015 Ford Transit van. It's that boxy looking one. Police Service has the Transit Express, the quarter-ton version. We're looking at a half-ton version. And that's replacing a 1995 Ford Econoline van. Pretty much used for all personnel and equipment around within the city. We are only getting a warning light package, an amber light package, running full emergency lighting equipment on that one. And the second one is a 2014 F-150 truck. That's replacing a 1996 Dodge truck. We use that as the brush truck. We are downsizing that also from a 2500 version of F-150. Service department, the current tank and pump assembly on it and all that, they're going to cut that down to make it into a skid unit. We just don't have any brush fires, more that way we can come out of the season, basically once it gets green around here, we can pull it out and continue to use it for regular hauling of equipment and stuff, rather than just being totally 100% for the brush vehicle. And they're just, at this point, mechanics, they're hard to get brake parts even now, and it's just, I don't think either of them are over 50,000 miles, but they're just 18 and 19 years old. And the money, I think, Keith remembers, I think we carried it for 2 years now, so we stretched out as long as we really could. It was appropriated a couple years ago originally.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Yeah, I was going to say, that transit van, that's the one that is very similar to what the cable access is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but this is a half-ton version rather than.
Okay, so a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bigger chassis. Yes.
all right, made in the US now.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Second motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one is 14-134 bids, rear loader packer truck sanitation.
Yes, sir. We had a little discussion on this prior. The last truck we bought, put the request in 2010, I believe. That's why I was confused. It said 2012, but what happened was by the time we went through the council and the specs were let, it was a 2011 truck that got delivered in 2012. So it's been a little while. We are in need of a rear load packer, and the estimate right now, as we speak, is about $220,000. They've come up a little bit. In the past, I believe they're about $180,000. We are still looking at 25 cubic yard packers versus the old trend 32-yarders. For, the salvation of the streets and for the units themselves, we've gone to the lower trucks, less capacity trucks, fuel and everything else. So the bids are in the bid specs are in the office of the mayor, and we're hopeful to get a decent price. I guess that's where we're at.
And delivery would occur,
It's 5 to 6 months.
any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14-135, amending salaries and benefits code, building official pay and job description. Mayor?
Thank you. I included an email there. It's my second page. I don't know if that's where you guys are, where it shows what the 112 pay scale is and what the 113 is. The reason I'm asking or requesting council consider an increase is if you look at the job classification, we're putting more responsibilities under the building official, which will assist with some of the costs in the water department by not having to have somebody overseeing the backflow prevention. It also helps with the engineering department for some of the stormwater issues. And then last but not least, the job description includes taking the plumbing back inside the city rather than having it performed by the health department, which would be advantageous to us, having it under the city's control and using the customer service model that we've established. I think it'll be better overall.
And the backflow position that's currently on the books is not going to be filled, or as far as a separate person. There's nobody currently in that
It's
position.
vacant. It's a vacant position right now. We'll need a laborer in the water department to do some of the field work rather than the building official, but he has the credentials to sign off and do the necessary things.
Questions?
It would be my hope, if we're successful with this, to then, when this goes for final approval of council on July 14th, also have a name for recommendation for this position.
So the 112 and 113 is the A through F steps.
There are no steps, it's just a number in between
Maximum
those.
hours, so
Yes, sir.
just a range.
Yes.
You all right with that?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14136, bids for the 2014 residential drainage improvements. Patrick?
Thank you. This is our annual residential drainage program. This year, we're recommending 5 projects, and what this is we get, as you know, a lot of complaints about surface drainage on private properties. We evaluate, we keep that list, and every year we evaluate it and try to pick out a couple of projects that we think, first of all, are warranted, second of all, are achievable. This year we came up with 5. It's a little more than we usually do. Typically, we ask for 25,000. This year, we're asking for 35, and part of that is directly attributed to the May 12th storm. There's a couple of projects that we think are relatively inexpensive and very achievable to provide a real quick positive impact to some residents there. So we'd like to get those done if we could.
Questions?
I just, again, Patrick, I'd just like to thank you and your multitude of staff for being able to put this list together for us every year that you do. So I know I can probably speak for everybody here that, you know, every time we have a heavy rains, we receive complaints or concerns. So again, thanks for addressing this.
And I just received a call today from a gentleman that was on Willow Bend by Alexandria about some surface water drainage. Did you ever receive any calls from somebody over there yet?
On Willow Bend?
Yeah.
I have not. It may have gone to our department, though. Corey Clifford handles most of those calls for us. I can check with him.
Yeah, the question is, Willow Bend, I had the address, I don't know if it was 11 something, but there's evidently a sheeting of surface water coming from an area that he says it's just getting worse and worse, but I don't know if that's something that falls within this list or can be looked at sometime or
We'll definitely look at it.
to see where the water's coming from, if it's, because I think there's the county's lines right around there too, where, I think that's where the township line, where the township and the city boundary
Yeah.
lines right around there.
We're going to be the south edge of town.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, 14137, authorize 2 easements for Forest Meadows drainage. Patrick?
Thank you. This is a project that's been awarded, and right now the contractor is gearing up to move on site probably within the next 2-3 weeks. We needed easements from 4 different property owners. This gives us 3 of those. We previously approved or accepted some easements. There's still one more property owner that I think we've got, verbally, we have an agreement. We just have to the name on the dotted line now for this Forest Meadows drainage project.
And you do not need the emergency clause?
They've already signed it. And to be honest with you, this will be towards the end of the project, so we probably won't get there for 6-8 weeks anyhow.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 14138, increased expenditure for precosing materials. Purchase order number 14268. Coley?
Thank you for asking to increase this PO. The materials we get from Kokosing is utilized in potholes, surface patching of potholes, and water breaks that are in pavement. So the original PO, you can see, went through, we thought we had enough for the season. We've already spent to date, I believe, $19,275. There's $1,275 left on the PO. That would need to get us through the summer and fall, and I don't think that will happen. So we're asking to increase this and to avoid a then and now situation.
Questions?
Asking for the emergency.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, Kathy. I think we need to ask the emergency clause to avoid the then and now scenario.
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency.
Thank you.
Any other further questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 14139, TREX Tracks Transfer Form, 1132 North Court Street Restaurant. Ms. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is another economic development transfer form for a Japanese restaurant called Tokyo Inc. I've been working with Kevin Brennan, who's the attorney for Yi Zhao, who's leasing the space. And as you know from the previous one, we're out of permits, and so he's identified a permit holder in Cuyahoga County who wishes to sell those permits. And looks like they're going to be investing about $200,000 in the project, creating 6 to 8 new jobs. And I believe in the email that I attached had some information about projected sales. So we're asking council to allow the mayor to sign the attached agreement or the form. And I was hoping that the attorney would be here or the client, but the fellow has another restaurant in Pennsylvania, so he couldn't make it, and the attorney could not make it, but he did leave me a voicemail message with regard to the permit. So if you wanted to hear that, I have it on my phone, my iPhone.
Play it.
Would you like to hear it?
No.
Nah.
Questions? Concerns? Nothing?
I just have one question.
Yes.
Are you, I can sign this on behalf of the city. We can bring them to you if you all would like to review them ahead of time. If you'd rather we just process them administratively, we can do that too. I just didn't, these were the first couple we did. I don't want to just run them through without you guys having a chance to weigh in, but if you'd rather we bring them, we can bring them. If you'd rather we just handle them, we can handle them.
Well, I guess the question is, these are transfers of liquor permits from other jurisdictions to our jurisdiction, increase in the number of places that can sell whatever it is, D1, D2, D3 liquor, beer, wine.
Right.
So the only question I can...
For economic development purposes.
For economic development purposes, right.
Yes.
Usually any restaurants probably that would qualify.
Right.
Is there a concern on council or anything that there could be too many liquor permits in the city of Medina?
You're asking the wrong group.
It's an oxymoron.
I guess the only thing that I'd want to know, I'm fine with it, would be, it is nice to hear, you know, who's coming in, what they're investing,
Yeah.
how many new jobs. That's, you know, if we can still just, you know, pass that along to us anyway. I mean, I don't think you need to bring it to us.
Like maybe just during the department head reports at the council meeting.
Yeah, I think that's good to hear. I think it's good for the public to hear.
Yeah, I think the thing with this one is, like, I went up to the plaza today to just sort of peek in the window, and, you know, they are working closely with our building department on the permits, so everything is legitimate. And it just would be nice to have a new business in that plaza and sort of freshen it up and have another choice, right? Because we don't really have any other Japanese restaurants here, so. I mean, there's the sushi on the roll, but that's just sushi, so this will have a different menu.
Twisted?
Yes, it's a Twisted restaurant.
Move to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14140, new appropriation, $250,000 key bank renovation. Mr. Foley?
Dave, Mary? Yeah, go ahead. With respect to this project, trying to move it forward, we've had multiple meetings, like everything else. The original cost came in, it was a little sticker shock, it was a little pricey. We went back to the drawing board, if you will, several times, and we're looking at every option. Some of the council members here have been involved in discussions. We've had discussions about automated versus non-automated fixtures, waterless versus water. floor-mounted toilets versus the wall-mounted. Obviously, going forward, our concern is maintenance and the easiest and the most, I guess, cost-effective. Those are the priorities. So we're looking at this to take some of the costs and knock it down even further. We're contemplating being the general contractors as a city, myself and Patrick, mostly me, I think, because Patrick has a full plate, not that we're not all busy, but that's the intent, and we're hopeful that we can get this done. So this is the next document that needs to be passed, or the discussion needs to take place so we can do that.
And the largest cost that I think we determined were masonry.
And
Plumbing.
mechanics with plumbing, yes.
That's the biggest ticket items.
Now, understand this 250,000 that we're estimating so far, and we're still trying to fine tune some of those numbers with the fixtures and things, does not include the stamped concrete or the knee wall outside or any of those others. It's going to rough in for the fountain. It's going to enclose the drive-through and one family restroom, the visitor center, and then 10 to 11 facilities for both 10 or 11 for men, 10 or 11 for women. But it's going to be pretty basic to stay within that 250. Now, if you tell me you would rather see something more like the knee wall outside, like some planters, things like that, that's all fine. We just need to know that, because then that has to be added to this 250,000.
Yeah, like I said, the largest cost, masonry and plumbing, will probably be half to 60% of the cost, mainly for, those are the big ticket items. Those were kind of things, well, you have to do it. So all the, additions to that, those are all extras beyond the basics. I mean, my personal opinion is I think you're gonna have to do something outside at some point. You just can't leave the front like it is. If you're gonna put a fountain there, I think you're gonna wanna spruce it up, and I'm not sure what that cost will be to, make it, put a new curb in so people don't have to stand in the parking lot, but that's all additional funds.
I guess my position, if I may, if you build the structure, we have the shell, and then enclose it and get the mechanics in with respect to the plumbing, the electrical and the lighting, and get the basics, that can be added on later if necessary. But at this point, I think our hands are tied with regard to the cost and then just getting the facility up and open.
And we can look at options later on to make it look pretty.
I agree, and it will look, and I think without all those things, it still will look pretty nice. I mean, it's not like it's gonna be, the outside of the building will look nice, and I think people are gonna be quite thrilled when they come here to have the facility,
It'll be
to
functional.
have the basic facility, because,
No, I don't recall, there is a furnace, but there's no air conditioning. Or is there a furnace? There has to be a furnace.
There's a furnace existing, I mean, there's a heating cooling now in the building, but we're not sure if it can facilitate the needs of going forward, so we may have to revisit that.
are we leaving the wall? We're leaving, the wall that comes out in the front, that kind of skirts the street, there's a brick wall.
Along North Court.
Along North Court Street. We're
Yeah, just
leaving
like the wrought
that,
iron fence.
right?
Yes.
And, I think, Paul's right, we can add whatever we can afford to add later on if we need to, but I think just getting it up and running will be
When that's been our challenge is, the more we look at all these things that might be nice, we're not working on the building yet. We'd like to get it open, get people using it, and then if we want to do some of this other stuff, I think that makes the most sense. Otherwise, the summer's going to be away from us.
Right.
And Christmas, so the New Year.
The engineer drawings, have they come back yet?
I spoke with the mayor briefly. I had called Kevin, left a voicemail. I was hopeful that we would have an answer before this meeting tonight. And again, the request came in, so it wouldn't be delayed further. So we were hopeful that we would have that, and he has not called me back prior to this meeting, so I don't have those. From our last meeting, he did indicate it'd be 3 weeks, so I'm not sure, I don't remember the exact date of that meeting we had with him. He said he would need 3 weeks for the engineer drawings, and I was hopeful to get an estimated cost of the revamped fixtures tonight. Don't have that.
But it seems most likely that there will be not open for the International Fest, maybe open for Candlelight, maybe. We don't know that for sure, though.
But we would hope that's doable, provided the numbers are
Correct.
because we're thinking, 90 days?
60 plus for construction, yeah, absolutely, but.
Well, that's why it's given 90 to 120, just
Yes.
to give a little flex time. Because some of it's going to be dependent on weather and a variety of things.
And when the contractors can start and getting them to work together and
Right.
with their schedules as well. So didn't want to give you any false information.
Questions?
Lean on them, you know.
In your spare time.
Okay.
The Bacoli touch.
Move to approve with the emergency clause not to exceed 250,000.
Second.
And this will be probably coming from 301. Or where's the,
I was going to ask
Yeah.
Keith to confirm that.
Yes, 301.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, well, that is it for the regular agenda. Now, we're in executive session.
Make a motion at 6:12 PM to enter executive session for the purpose of considering the purchase of property for colored purposes and the sale of property for peddling value with existing mature disclosures given on fair possession of property against
No, it was not. That's the budget.
Clerk, please call the roll.
executive session.
Sorry, Jim.
Yes. Got a lot.